We were just driving, and then she saw something. What is wrong with you?
It ain't no virus or a chemical attack. It is real evil. If you see it, it takes on the form of your worst fears.
Every contact we have.
In a world plunged into silence and fear, Bird Box stands as one of the most chilling explorations of human survival and the invisible horrors that lurk beyond the mind's ability to comprehend. The story unfolds in a reality where unseen creatures drive anyone who looks at them to madness and death. It's a terrifying premise built around one simple rule: never open your eyes outside. What begins as a mysterious global catastrophe soon turns into a desperate fight for survival, where every sound, breath, and decision could mean life or death. The film captures this chaos with haunting intensity, focusing on the raw human instinct to protect, endure, and find hope in the darkest of times. At the center of this emotional storm is Mallory, played by Sandra Bullock, whose performance defines the heart of the movie. She isn't your typical hero. She's guarded, skeptical, and often conflicted. But when faced with the collapse of civilization, she becomes the symbol of a mother's resilience, carrying 2 children through a nightmare where sight itself is the enemy. The bond between them isn't just emotional, it's survival itself. The fear that one accidental glance could end everything keeps the tension alive from start to finish, creating an atmosphere of constant suspense. The story moves between 2 timelines: the chaos of the world's initial downfall and the perilous journey down the river years later. This dual structure gives the film its emotional weight, showing both the destruction of humanity and the fragile hope that remains. The river scenes are particularly gripping. Mallory, blindfolded, navigating deadly rapids with 2 children who've never known a world without terror. The sound of rushing water replaces sight, every splash echoing the uncertainty of what lies ahead. It's a journey that mirrors her internal struggle between fear and faith, despair and determination. What makes Bird Box so powerful isn't just the horror of the unseen creatures, but the way it explores human nature under extreme pressure. When people can't see, they are forced to trust, to rely on senses and emotions often ignored in the modern world. It strips humanity down to its core. Within the safety of their temporary shelters, survivors become reflections of our deepest instincts, some kind, some cruel, some broken. The film doesn't just show monsters outside, it shows how fear itself becomes a monster within. Throughout the film, the sound design plays a massive role in storytelling. The rustle of leaves, the distant footsteps, the trembling whispers all remind the audience that in this world, hearing becomes the most vital sense. The silence is suffocating, and every small noise carries a weight of danger. The use of blindfolds isn't just a visual symbol, it's psychological. It forces characters and viewers to confront the unknown, to feel vulnerability in its purest form. The cinematography amplifies this haunting mood with a balance of beauty and dread. The calm of nature, the flowing river, the mist-covered forests contrasts the terror beneath it. The world seems almost peaceful, yet it hides an invisible force that has brought humanity to its knees. This contrast gives Bird Box its eerie, poetic rhythm. The world remains beautiful, but deadly, a reminder that not all threats are visible. Sandra Bullock's portrayal of Mallory earned widespread praise for its emotional depth and strength. She brings a believable blend of fear, courage, and exhaustion, showing how survival isn't about heroism, but persistence. Her evolution from a woman uncertain about motherhood to one willing to risk everything for her children gives the movie its soul. The 2 children, known only as boy and girl, symbolize innocence in a world that no longer has any. Their relationship with Mallory reflects the hope that even in a broken world, love can still survive. Supporting performances add layers to the tension. Each survivor brings their own story, their own idea of how to live when sight is forbidden. Some believe in faith, others in logic, and some in pure survival instinct. These conflicting beliefs turn the safe houses into battlegrounds of ideology and trust. The film cleverly shows how human nature itself becomes unpredictable when trapped between hope and horror. The film's pacing keeps the viewer gripped from beginning to end. The narrative doesn't rush, yet never feels slow. It builds pressure like a tightening rope. Every decision, every mistake feels irreversible. There's a constant balance between calm and chaos, and the uncertainty of what's coming next is what keeps the fear alive. The emotional moments are handled with restraint, making them hit harder when they finally come. The concept of the unseen threat works brilliantly because it lets imagination do the work. Instead of showing monsters, the film lets fear take shape in the audience's mind. This choice makes the horror more personal and psychological. Everyone imagines something different, something tailored to their deepest fear. The idea that the greatest terrors are the ones we can't see or understand becomes the film's most powerful message. At its core, Bird Box isn't just a horror story. It's a reflection on modern isolation, the fragility of sanity, and the strength of parental love. It shows how easily society can collapse when faced with an uncontrollable threat, but also how far people will go to protect those they love. The story's message resonates beyond its fictional setting. It asks what we would do when the world demands that we survive without seeing, without knowing, without trusting. The movie's success also sparked countless discussions about its deeper meanings. Some see it as a metaphor for depression, others for social media blindness, or the fear of the unknown that dominates modern life. Whatever interpretation one chooses, the emotional truth remains. When everything falls apart, love becomes the only guide left. Years after its release, Bird Box continues to hold its place as one of the defining thrillers of its generation. It proved that horror doesn't need to rely on jump scares or blood, it needs atmosphere, emotion, and imagination. Its quiet moments are as powerful as its intense ones, showing that silence can be just as frightening as screams. The river, the blindfolds, the whispered names, they all became symbols of survival in the face of the unimaginable. The film's impact went far beyond its initial run, inspiring conversations, memes, and even challenges that echoed its themes of blindness and trust. Yet beneath all that cultural noise lies a deeply human story, one of loss, courage, and redemption. It reminds us that even when the world demands we close our eyes, we can still find our way forward if we hold on to the ones we love. The haunting score, the layered performances, and the tense direction come together to form a cinematic experience that lingers long after the screen fades to black. Every scene feels heavy with emotion, every silence filled with unseen danger. It's the kind of film that forces you to imagine what can't be shown, and that's what makes it unforgettable. In the end, Bird Box is not about monsters at all. It's about what it means to survive when hope feels impossible. It's about facing darkness, both outside and within, and finding a reason to keep moving forward. The final moments, when Mallory and the children finally reach a sanctuary, are not just about safety. They're about acceptance, about opening one's heart even when the world outside is blind and broken. The story leaves the audience with more questions than answers, and that's exactly its power. What are the creatures? Why did the world end? The film never tells us because it doesn't need to. The true mystery isn't the creatures, it's the human heart, and how it continues to beat even when the light has vanished. As a piece of storytelling, Bird Box succeeds because it blends fear with emotion, suspense with reflection, It takes a simple concept and turns it into a deeply moving journey about faith, motherhood, and survival. It shows that sometimes the most terrifying battles are not against monsters, but against ourselves. And even in the blindness of despair, there's still a faint light that leads the way home. That's what makes Bird Box more than a thriller. It's a haunting reminder that even in silence and darkness, the will to survive, to protect, and to love remains the most powerful force of all.